But we are northbound on the 605. Northbound on the 605 going really, really fast here. We just picked this up as we were coming away from that sad story in Diamond Bar. I can tell you this is industry sheriffs who is following this car driving really crazy northbound on the 605 in wide open traffic right now. So we got industry sheriffs in pursuit. Going to try to get some more information on our assignment desk about what the original want was on this, if it was a failure to yield or if it was a stolen vehicle or something like that. But we're going pretty fast. We've seen speeds typing about between 90. I think they're talking about going about 100 miles an hour right now. And this is fairly unusual for sheriffs to actually be engaged at this point. A lot of times we see sheriffs start to back off once we see these really, really crazy speeds. So very dangerous northbound on the 605, just screaming along here. We'll be coming up to the 210 freeway here shortly, Jeff and Crystal.
Desmond, do you know what kind of car that is?
You know, he's going so fast. We've been trying to catch up with him, and I'm trying to see what kind of car this is right now. I have not been able to make out any of the discerning features to tell me what exactly kind of car this is, but it is certainly a pretty fast car right now.
Yeah, going about 100 miles per hour. We don't know the want on this vehicle. It appears that there is one police car behind it, which is an industry sheriff, is what we're told. Desmond Shaw is in Sky 2. This is northbound on the 605, and it looks like Baldwin Park. So are there any other units, perhaps any sort of air support over this vehicle, Desmond?
No, Jeff, I think this chase is so new that we don't have any air support at this point. There are a lot of other units in pursuit, I can tell you. We had the one who was directly behind him, and it looks like even he's kind of struggling to catch up. I can see at least half a dozen other units that are also behind this guy. So yeah, we are coming through the Baldwin Park El Monte area northbound on the 605, and we'll be coming up to the 210 freeway shortly. And this guy's definitely going to have to slow down if he's going to want to make one of these transitions that go directly east or west, if he's going to head either east into Irwindale or westbound into the Monrovia and Arcadia area.
And Desmond, we're hearing from our producers that the want is for attempting to run down a deputy. So you can imagine this guy's trying to get away, but have a look right there. Looks like that deputy is very close to the car. We normally don't see deputies get that close, I feel like. What do you think, Desmond?
Yeah, no, that is unusual, but that's also a very unusual want. Trying to run down a deputy. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Now screeching to a halt, and no, actually going westbound on the 210. It was looking like he was going to exit near the end of the freeway at Mount Olive, which goes towards Bradbury, but he decided at the last second to cut there and go west on the 210, driving incredibly aggressively right now. So he said the want was trying to run down a deputy, which tells me, you know, perhaps that's why this unit is being so aggressive in chasing this guy, because both of them are going so fast. I mean, just pedal to the metal here, westbound.
Okay, this is a 100-mile-per-hour high-speed pursuit. That's going to be on the northbound 605 in Baldwin Park. We can say the want on that vehicle and for the driver is the attempt rundown of a sheriff's deputy. Now, of course, that would be deadly force.
Yeah.
If there was a situation that was on the ground and a car was approaching a deputy and didn't stop, they could see that as, you know, lethal force, and they could shoot at the driver. So you got to understand that they're taking this obviously as somebody possibly armed. I mean, they used a weapon towards the deputy. There certainly might be something that's going to be heightened awareness for these deputies and for law enforcement as they try to get that vehicle rounded up there. This is going to be on the northbound 605 tonight.
Yeah, and we saw that car was driving 100 miles per hour, extremely fast. We also saw right there, you can see it looks like the sheriff's deputy extremely close, and that's something that we normally don't see. And as Desmond Shaw was saying, there's a reason why that deputy is probably so close, because this man is wanted for possibly attempting to run down a deputy.
And he's driving very aggressively, so you got to understand that that cruiser behind there wants to stay on top of this driver. They don't want to lose this guy.
Look.
This is somebody who tried to injure a deputy, tried to run them over. And so, as I mentioned, you know, that's deadly force, and that's one reason why police want to get this person behind the wheel of this pursuit vehicle. We don't understand what kind of vehicle it is at this point in time. It's obviously very dark. They're running without their headlights, and they're going 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of sports car, possibly a black, dark sports car, definitely in the fast lane at times, and then you would see him skirting over to the right lane. He also tried to ditch that officer. I don't know if you recall. Did you see
what kind of car is this?
Well, it looked like he's going, at one point in time, was trying to go off. Now, is this an off-ramp here, Desmond? This is going off to surface streets, right?
Ooh, we have
yes, I believe this is going to be Huntington. Yeah, Huntington Drive. So coming into the Monrovia area, and I'm really floored, guys, at how aggressively this guy is being. He's going to look like maybe that deputy was going to try to do a pit maneuver there, but decided against it. Westbound on Huntington Drive right now, a pretty major thoroughfare. Let's see what happens here. Turning back around. And back, looked like he wanted to get on the eastbound side of the 210, but he kind of missed the turn because he's going so fast. So now he's eastbound on Huntington Drive, coming through Monrovia. That was a green light, fortunately. I mean, it looks like this guy's driving so fast, and if he's going to blow through red lights, you know, really, really worried about.
Okay, wanted for attempting to run down deputies with his vehicle. This is a pursuit that we are following here on CBS 2. Unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties with Sky 2 and Desmond Shaw is at the helm.
Yeah, now he's on Huntington Drive, and if anyone knows that area,
you guys need another antenna?
Residential / commercial area. Luckily, it looks like there's not a lot of people out there, which is great. Not a lot of drivers on the street, but you can see a deputy following very closely
going through red lights there.
Ooh.
Now, you see very aggressive driving here. Now, you know Desmond has seen a lot of these chases. He says he hasn't seen somebody drive this aggressively in quite some time. Crystal, we saw this driver going over 100 miles per hour. We saw them trying to ditch a police vehicle behind them by going on and then off of an off-ramp.
Running another red light right there.
Running more red lights. And that's very dangerous. Of course, it's dark. You get to these side streets. There could be cyclists. There could be pedestrians, somebody trying to cross the street. And you're going that fast with these conditions, you know, with darkness out there. It's just very dangerous.
Very dangerous, and this is really interesting watching this deputy so close. You can tell this deputy did not want to let this driver get away. It looks like we do have Desmond back in the chopper for us. Desmond, are you there?
Yeah, Crystal, I just heard we are getting some air support over this. It's unclear what agency has their chopper over here. We're still trying to figure out. We thought maybe it was sheriffs, so it might be Baldwin Park, but we're still eastbound on Huntington Drive. And, you know, I wanted to remark earlier, this guy was trying to brake check one of the officers on the westbound 210, kind of adding to that assault with a deadly weapon. I mean, you saw him going 100 miles an hour and then slamming on the brakes. We saw some of the tires burning there on the 210. Unfortunately, that, you know, officer really, really quick on his brake pedal as well, but actually saw that this suspect do that to the cops a couple of times. Saw that earlier on the 605 as well. So this is an incredibly dangerous chase right now. Sometimes, you know, we see some of these pursuits where they go really, there he goes again, slamming on the brakes at the last second. Now going inside a 7-Eleven parking lot. And let's see, it looks like
this may be the end of it.
Okay, it looks like, wow, he doesn't want to give up. The officer there slamming into him there in the back. But this guy does not want to give up. Wow.
That was very close to that big
really,
rig,
really
and that was
scary,
a gas
guys.
Truck. Obviously, that was flammable material in there as he continues to speed down these side streets. Do you know exactly where you are, Desmond?
We just turned off of Huntington Drive. I believe they're calling this Central Street. I'm not sure. This is not one of the. He's coming down to Duarte Road, I think now.
Just off the curb.
Coming onto a center median now. He's stopped. Let's see what happens here. It looks like he crashed on that center median, may have disabled his car. Officers out with guns drawn. Let's hope that this insane chase has come to a conclusion here. Unclear how many people are in the car. Waiting to see a door open here and hopefully see some hands up. And hopefully this will be coming to a conclusion, but not seeing anybody step out yet.
Yeah, we're going to hold on here, just see if this guy is going to give up or not. What we have here is Desmond Shaw in Sky 2. We have this on the northbound 605 going over 100 miles per hour, then going on side streets, Crystal, slowing down just a bit, but going through those red lights, going through a 7-Eleven parking lot, and was going head-to-head with a big rig. It was one of those big rigs with a gas truck, flammable material, but somehow got out of there and back onto the roads and then kind of got to high-centered on this median.
Hit the center median there. Desmond, can you see if there's a passenger in the truck, in the car, excuse me? It looked like there was someone possibly in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Crystal, I couldn't see here. We're trying to get around to see the driver's side here. I can tell you we are on Central Avenue. That's a street that parallels Huntington Drive. Actually, we might even be on Eucalyptus Avenue. This all happened so fast. It looks like this is a Kia. I'm being told that this is a Kia Optima, black Kia Optima.
It's got some
right
damage
now
in the
that,
back.
Came.
Now, that might have been from one of the brake
from
checks.
from the deputy who slammed into him in that 7-Eleven parking lot. It looked like he was almost trying to do a pit maneuver there, but then that truck kind of complicated things. But this guy, disabled this vehicle himself. Now you see officers rolling up there.
Using that for safety.
Trying to get ever closer. This guy is not giving up right now. I can't tell if the window is up or down.
We haven't seen any hands
but
come
I'm
out.
hearing, still not seeing hands come up. I think I see hands on the steering wheel.
Well, that's a start. Let's really quickly bring the viewers up to speed, because this is somebody behind the wheel of this vehicle that tried to run over a deputy and then also did a brake check on the highway, which obviously means you're going a high rate of speed and then apply your brakes and then you hope that somebody's going to run into the back of them, and that didn't happen. And they tried a couple pit maneuvers, went through this aggressive driving, and is now high-centered here.
Yeah, and it looks like the driver probably didn't see this center median, because when he drove up on it, it appeared just out of nowhere.
He was
and so
going
now,
too fast.
Yeah, and now it looks like he got himself stuck, and deputies obviously want him or her to come out of the car. And you can see all of the deputies behind their doors.
You're going to treat this like a deadly weapon, because that car is and was at one point in time trying to run over a deputy. So they got to treat this individual as dangerous, maybe even armed, and they're going to take this person into custody as fast and as quickly as they can. Do we have any canines that we can see, Desmond?
I do not see any canines, Jeff, but I do want to give you an updated location. This is Highland Avenue and Duarte Road, where it bends back around, and that's the Gold Line railroad tracks that you see there off the side as well. But you see all of the officers out here with deadly force. I'll just zoom out to show you here the massive response that they have. Do not see any canine officers, though, at this point, but they have this guy completely covered now. It's really just going to be a waiting game at this point, but it's very disturbing that this guy has not surrendered yet at this point. 95% of the time at this point, we see the suspect get out of the car. We see him. They realize that the jig is up. Okay, it looks like he does have his hands up, or he did for a second. Now he's got a hand on the steering wheel, but so it's not clear if he's complying with officers at this point. But he needs to get out of the car soon.
Yeah, I just wonder if maybe there's for some reason a reason why he can't open up the driver's side door. I mean, you see some cactus or something like that. Maybe there's some landscape or a rock or something. I wonder if maybe there's no way for him to get out of there.
Yeah, I see that there's some damage on the driver's side door. I don't know if it's so much that the door is not able to open. It doesn't look that severe. It looks like it's just kind of scraped up.
Well, I guess if it's damaged and he can't get out of there, they obviously will make entry into, we've seen that before, where they will take them out of the vehicle with force, and they'll go up there and pop a window if they have to.
Desmond, can you see what he's doing in the car? It looks like his hands are moving.
Yeah, he's been very fidgety. I saw his hands on the steering wheel, then it looked like he had his hands up, then I saw him kind of fidgeting around for something. No, I really can't tell very well. I can try to zoom in, but it gets very dark when I do this. Let's see what we can see a little bit better at this point. It looks like he's looking behind him with one arm on the steering wheel. It certainly looks like that's just kind of scraped up damage there on the driver's door. So he should be able to get out. He's got both arms up now in the air, but just way too much movement coming out of here when you have all of these officers in such a tense situation with deadly force, and especially considering the circumstances, trying to run down a deputy and then doing brake checks on the freeway like that. So just incredibly tense here in Duarte at the intersection of Highland and Duarte Road, just south of the 210 freeway.
So since the Gold Line tracks are right there, Desmond, did you get the idea that maybe he was going such a high rate of speed, he went over those tracks, got a little bit airborne, out of control, and then hit this median here, and that's why he's stuck there?
Yeah, it may be. That may very well be the case. This is not a high-performance sports car or anything, even though he was driving it that way. But yeah, he definitely took that turn just a little bit too quickly, which he also did earlier when it was looking like he was making a U-turn and wanting to get back on the eastbound 210 and then barely missed the turn. And I think he just kind of lost control here and got up on the median and was not able to get off of the median before he got surrounded by the police. But it looks like he does have his arms up again over his head. It's very, very difficult to tell.
Desmond, can you hear what the officers are commanding him or telling him at this point? Do you hear any of that?
I'm going to let me turn it back up here and see if I can glean any information from industry sheriffs who have been the lead agency handling this.
Okay, we'll give you a chance to do that real quick. This is going to be in Duarte at Highland Avenue and Duarte Road, just past the Gold Line train tracks right there. This is the end of a police pursuit. You could call it a standoff, I guess, at this point in time. This was at one point in time when we picked it up northbound the 605, doing over 100 miles per hour. Very aggressive driving here, Crystal. This guy was dangerous. He tried to run over a deputy. He brake checked police officers on the highway, went the wrong way at one point in time, went through red lights, was going through a residential area very fast, and was really using what a lot of people would consider deadly force. Yeah,
he was driving so fast, we suspect he might have rounded the corner right here and actually hopped the curb and might have pinned his car right there, so he might actually be stuck. We don't know if his door is jammed, and that's why he might not want to get out, but we do see like there's a little scrape on the door, so that could be a possibility, but I did count, and I think there's about 12 black and whites around there.
That's a lot. That's a good response.
Yeah, and so you can imagine there's several deputies, and they're all standing sort of behind that one
it looks like he's got two hands up.
Oh, here we are.
Looks like he's coming out, so this should be over with here pretty quick. You know, obviously here the protocol will be your hands up and walk back towards a police officer, get down on your knees, then plant your face in the landscaping there or the road or wherever the case may be, and then an officer comes up and cuffs him, and then they clear the vehicle, and that should be the night. So we'll kind of see what happens here. Well, this is going to be our first look at the pursuit suspect now.
Looks like he's following some orders. As you just said, turn around, walk slowly back to the officer who will call you, and then at some point get down on the ground. Desmond, what can you tell us?
Well, they were just earlier. They were worried that he was not complying, and then suddenly now he is. But kind of complicating things. There's actually a Gold Line train that's preparing to pass by here right now, and I heard deputies saying that they do not want the train to stop here. They don't want one more factor to have to think about or endanger anybody. So they're going to have that gold. First, they had to get their vehicles off the Gold Line tracks, and now they told that train to continue going. But fortunately, it does look like this is coming to an end after one of the craziest chases I've ever seen.
Wow.
This person is being taken into custody. Now we should see the deputies come and do a quick sweep of the car and make sure that there's no one else hiding inside. And this will be at a peaceful conclusion. But wow, we were really holding our breath there earlier at some of the very, very tense moments.
Okay, officers there. We'll be wrapping this up here as they continue to clear the scene. A number of officers after this driver decided to try to run over a deputy.
Go ahead,
that
Norbert.
resulted in this crash here in Duarte. We'll continue to follow that here on CBS 2.